Let's do something super practical and mathematically optimize an advertising budget. Let's say that you are a CMO, you're a marketer, or let's say that you're working at an agency and you've got a sort of middle-sized client that doesn't necessarily have a CMO and doesn't have the analytics resources to do this type of stuff. Or let's say you're a consultant. Either way, what you're trying to do is convince a client or convince the company that you work for how they should allocate their money across various advertising outlets. So you've got it narrowed down to four. You've got television advertisements, search engine optimization, Google AdWords, and you want to spend some money on a Facebook firm. And you've also got these proportion ROIs per channel that were handed to you. These are just estimates of how much money or how much ROI you could get for each channel. So 9% for the television advertisement, 14% for SEO, 10% for Google AdWords, and 5% for Facebook. Now you've also got some other information here. You've got these constraints. You know that your budget is only $1 million, and your boss told you that SEO AdWords had to be at least 60% of the budget. The Facebook company, your boss is skeptical of social media, so says, okay, Facebook, you can't spend more than $200,000 or 20% on that. TV is expensive. There's lots of production costs associated with it. It's going to be at minimum 200 grand, and you need to take that into account. You know that the minimum contract with the Facebook agency is 80 grand. They don't even listen to clients who aren't going to spend that much. The minimum contract with the SEO agency is 60 grand. And they also have a maximum. The SEO agency doesn't want to, they don't do accounts greater than 220 grand because they don't have the resources for that. And we sort of had a piece of imaginary wisdom handed down to us from the SEO experts that the maximum contract, you shouldn't spend more than 3 times of your SEO budget on AdWords. So whatever we spend on AdWords needs to be less than 3 times what we spend on SEO. Now, there's another interesting constraint, which is we want to allocate our money such that our reach is within the size of our market. Now, the size of our market is 1.3 million. So you can see that number represented down here. We've got a market size that much. It doesn't really make sense to advertise outside that market. And we also have these sort of spread or reach metrics that were handed down to us as well, which describe these outlets, TV, SEO, AdWords, and Facebook. And we know that within each one, so for example, in TV, we get 2.5 customers per dollar, SEO 2.1 customers per dollar, AdWords 0.9 customers per dollar, and Facebook, we get 3 customers per dollar. So this is sort of a complicated situation we're in here. We have these estimates of reach, we have these estimates of the proportion ROI per channel, and we have all these constraints that we've been given. So how do we figure out how much money we should spend in each one of these channels? This is a classic linear programming problem. In linear programming, you need to have 3 things. So any problem in business, or really any problem, if you can break it down into 3 components, you can use linear programming to solve it. So the 3 things that you need, one is some goal. You need a goal that you're trying to minimize or maximize. In our case, we're trying to maximize our return on investment in US dollars across this entire campaign. So that's our goal. Now we also have decisions to make. So first is a goal, second is decisions. The decisions is how much money to spend in each channel. We don't know that. We need to decide that. And then third, we need constraints. So here's our constraints over here. We've got the budget. We've got all these other various constraints I described a second ago. We've got our reach constraints. So that's a linear programming problem. We've got a goal to minimize or maximize. We've got decisions to make, and we have constraints. In the next video, I'll show you how to actually go about solving this in Microsoft Excel. You can also do this in LibreOffice.